And today presenting will be Radisha, and he is the Flexi project manager here at SAI, and he's been working with Flexi for years and years. He used to be the head tech support, and so he dealt with all the problems, knows Flexi inside and out. And so today he'll be walking us through Production Manager and all that he's learned about that and all the tips and tricks that he's going to share with you. And then after that presentation, we will have a Q&A session. So you can just go ahead and type in any questions you have in the chat window in the bottom here. And then after the presentation, we'll go ahead and answer those. So if you have a question during it, just go ahead and write that down so you don't forget. I think that's about everything. Radisha, we'll turn it over to you.
All right, thank you, Stuart. So I want to talk about the Production Manager and how you can use features that are in Production Manager to improve your workflow, speed up things, speed up your production, and minimize your mistakes. The costliest mistake is when you produce a job and you print it on the wrong material or something that is wrong, and the human factor can cause those errors, and that costs everybody money. And I will start with the simple things, and then I'll be adding to it as we go. We're going to work with the adding setups, several ways you can add jobs. There's 3-4 different ways you can add job to Production Manager. Setting up some defaults, and then working with hot folders. That's going to be the last part of it. So let me start with, Production Manager is open. I will just go add several setups. Adding devices, either printers or cutters, we call it a setup, and I will elaborate on that a little bit later. I'll go and add a couple printers. I'll pick Muto, some of their older models. Select the model, select device, click next. I do not have it connected, but I will just put a fake IP address in it just to finish adding this setup. Okay, I will go and add another device. This time I will pick, let's see, maybe hybrid device. And I can go to Roland and maybe one of those VG models, 540. And I will, again, type in an address that is not true, just for the purpose of this exercise. Well, this is finishing. Next, I will add a vinyl cutter. So add a setup, select the vinyl cutter as an option, and I'll go to one of the most popular models out there. That would be Graphtec, one of their latest series, that's CA600-130. And this will be on a USB port. I will finish this, and we have several setups here. You can add up to 50 different devices to Production Manager. Of course, you won't be able to print or to cut to all of those at the same time. Just to mention this, if you have a subscription version of Flexi 12, you can output to 5 devices at the same time. With the Flexi Sign and Print traditional license, you can output to 3 devices at the same time. All right. So we have our devices on the top. First subject I want to cover is adding jobs. There are 4 different ways you can add job to Production Manager. First one would be, of course, if we're using Flexi and we have a file that we created in Flexi, we can click on a rip and print icon, and I already, selected I want to add 6 jobs. I would just change this to holding list because I do not have a printer and I don't want it to rip and send to wrong port. And I can click send, and it'll take a few seconds to process this and send it to Production Manager. If I take a look at our Production Manager, here's my job. So that's probably the most common way that we all send jobs to Production Manager using Flexi. Now, if you have a job that not have to be open in Flexi. It's print ready. You received it from a customer, something you did before. You don't even have to use Flexi to open it. And you will open a job that it's ready, then you send it to production manager. You will just be wasting your time. I would add that job directly to production manager. One way to do that is when you select the printer, you just click on add the job option. Go to your folder where your files are, select your job, click add, and it will bring you to production manager. Again, it's click on a job. One advice, on the side here we see a couple check boxes. If you're working from a remote drive, if your jobs are saved on a server or on a flash drive, and you're bringing it to production manager, I would suggest you use this option, copy job to folder. If you do not use that option, if you while you process a job, while you're ripping or printing, if you lose connection to that remote device, you can lose your job. Copy to job folder will make a copy of that file on a local drive, temporary, and then you can remove your flash drive, continue working. Open job properties will open job properties as soon as you add a job. Here we go. Now I can go and change number of copies or whatever settings I need to change for that particular job. Okay, those are a couple ways to add it. Another way to add the job would be you can simply drag and drop the file. So let's say I have my jobs in a folder. I can just select a couple jobs that I need or more, and I can drag and drop it to production manager. Once my job is inside the production manager, I can double click on a job to open job properties and work with that. Maybe I need to change the size, add multiple copies, and so forth. So those are three most common ways to add a job. At the end, I will talk about the fourth way when we talk about the hot folders. But before we go there, I want to work with those setups on the top and create some default properties that can help you save time or make less mistakes. On the top, you see two bars. The first one is a device bar. That one contains, a model name and IP address or communication options. If you need to change the address or a connection, you can just double click on the device in device bar and change your IP address. The second bar is what we call a setup bar. If you double click on that device in the setup bar, you will open default job properties, and this is where you can set some things, some defaults for this particular device. Let's say I'm using media that it's always 48 inches. Any job that I add, I want it to fit to media. I'm using, this is going to be a banner or maybe vinyl. Let's say this is going to be banner print, so I'm going to choose a 13-ounce matte banner profile. And when I apply those settings, this is going to become default for this printer. If I go and add a job now, let's select this one, and I will open job properties. I can select which device I'm adding it to, and I will tell it to use default job properties. When I add that job, you will see that it has applied my media size. My job is fit to media. If I go to my color correction tab, my profile is applied already. So this way, I know I'm going to be using this media a lot. I can set those defaults, and as soon as I add a job, it will apply all the settings that I have created. And you can go to every single tab here and pick your defaults. Let's say this profile didn't include my heater settings. I can go in and say apply heater settings, and I can set that as a default. And you can go to every single tab and set those properties. If I add multiple jobs. Say I'll set 5 of those. All the same properties will be applied to every single job. Furthermore, I can select those jobs and click nest, so I can send them as a one print. And if I take a look now on all of the jobs that I have added to Production Manager, they all fit to media. They are all on 48-inch media. They are using banner profile, and header settings will be applied to it. This is a very easy and quick way to speed up your production, and it will create less mistakes at the end. Okay, now when you're working with the, so now I say this is good if I'm using a banner. What if I have, I'm going to use banner, I'm going to use vinyl, I'm going to use window perf material. You can set multiple setups. If you look at the setup bar here, if you right click on the printer, I can go and say duplicate setup. Let's click on that. Add setup window will come up, and it will ask me, what do I want to name this setup? Let's say this is going to be for my banner material. I'll just call it the banner. Click finish. And default job properties window will open immediately. Let's say I'm going to use odd size, 36-inch size material. I always want it to fit to media. I want to use, I'll use this banner profile for the Muto. I'll check my printer option tab. Maybe I need temperature on the platen to be increased a little bit. So I can go to every single tab here and set my default properties for that job. I will apply it and click OK. And here I have another printer. It's the same Muto, but I have different properties. Now I can go to this one and change name for that one. I can just right click on it. If you see, I can right click on anything. If I right click on the printer, I can go to Setup Properties, and I will call this one Vinyl. Okay, I'll open it. I can double click on that setup now, and I can say, okay, this is going to be 48-inch media. I will use Graphic 2 profile. I still want to fit to media just so I can show you more options, and I click apply. And okay. Now when I'm adding a job to Production Manager, I can just click on a job. I can choose either banner or vinyl. Let's choose banner this time. I'm going to add those 2 jobs. If I go to my banner option, here are my jobs. If I double click on a job, you notice that all the settings I created for that banner have applied. I have 36-inch media, I have a banner profile, and I'm ready to go. I can just click send and send this job to print. If I'm printing something on the vinyl, I can go to add job and actually let's maybe drag and drop into this one. Use a little bit different option. I'll add those 2 jobs to a vinyl. I should be able to nest those. When I open job properties for this, you'll see it's a 40-inch media, 48-inch media with the correct profile and correct size that I wanted. And this part with adding setups, you can add pretty much as many of those as you want. This is what I found to be very, very good way to save material and make least amount of mistakes. Okay. Let's talk about hot folders now. Every time you add a setup and you create a printer, inside the software with the installation, there is a folder created named hot folder. That's a special folder where there is some code and the programming applied to when you add the job to that folder. Software or RIP will pick it up and it will start processing it or working with it. One way to last way to add job is to customize those hot folders. If I right-click on my setup here and go to Setup Properties, you will notice this is the address of that hot folder, but that's buried deep inside installation folder for Flexi, and I don't want to use that. You can create folder anywhere on your hard drive, on a network, on a server that can be used as a hot folder. And I can click Browse, and I created a couple folders ahead of time on my C drive. So I can use this vinyl, BJ vinyl, that would be for my vinyl folder. I click OK, and this is my hot folder, and I'll click Apply. Okay. For a banner, I can change it to be, go to Setup Properties, Browse. I'll go back to that C drive, and here's a banner. Okay. Apply. Okay. Okay. Here's Production Manager. I want to show you what happens when I work with those folders. So here are my files. I'll go to C drive. Hopefully you can see everything. So I have two folders here. I'm going to select my vinyl. I'll take several files, and I will actually copy it this time. I can copy and paste inside this hot folder. And as you can see, those jobs are automatically added to Production Manager. So you can use this in your production environment where you have designers working on different stations. They prepare a file. They're doing your pre-flight. Once they're finished, they can just go and add those. They know this job will be printed on a vinyl. Then those two jobs that I have selected right now, we will print this on a banner material. So your operator does not have to try to figure out which media will need to be printed, what settings to use. Once you create those hot folders, you can just add jobs into those folders and create default job properties for each one of those folders. So when a job is added, you will always see that is a 36-inch media with a correct profile, and you know that this job will be produced in correct way. I will delete those jobs because I want to show you one more cool option. If you go back to right-click and go to Setup Properties, there are a couple options that you can set for a hot folder. One is what to do with the jobs once hot folder receives the jobs. Once you copy and paste job into hot folder, you can tell it to auto start. You can tell it maybe to schedule and print after 8 p.m. and a second shift when you load that vinyl material. For this purpose exercise, I would set it to auto start. Furthermore, I can go to this automatic nesting options and say automatically nest jobs. And I have several options here. Let's say you're designing and adding jobs to hot folder, but you don't want to process it right away. You want to wait. I can tell it maybe once you have 5 jobs in a hot folder, then go and process it and nest those jobs. So maybe every 30 minutes look at the hot folder, or every hour or every 2 hours, and then process the job. Percentage coverage of your media, or you can do a schedule. I will use a number of jobs for this exercise, and I'm setting this for a vinyl. And I will apply. Let's say I have 6 jobs here. I will copy and I will post it into vinyl folder. Paste this, and let's see what is happening. In Production Manager, you can see job is added, and I will stop it here. I told it to nest and automatically process every group of 5 jobs. It automatically nested and started ripping those jobs with all the settings and defaults that I created for that folder, and it would send it to a printer, and it will print that job for you. This job here, that's our 6th job that is waiting in a queue, so that will not be processed until I add a few more jobs. Let's pick maybe those 5 jobs here. I will copy this. I will go to vinyl folder, paste. Let's see what's happening in Production Manager. It's setting the job, says, okay, I have enough jobs to process. I will start nesting them. It will start ripping the job, and this job here will wait for next group. So that's the fourth way to add jobs, and I really like this one because it gives you a lot of flexibility and a lot of control over your workflow. It will, for sure, speed up your process, and what's most important, your production guys will be making less mistakes because they don't have to go and select the correct profile and correct media or correct size. You can preset it and produce it this way. So I think this is what I wanted to show today. And Stu can take over and see if we have any questions regarding what we have showed or some other questions about Flexi and Production Manager.
Okay, thank you so much, Radisha. So like Radisha said, if you do have any questions either about using Production Manager or any other questions that have just been on your mind about Flexi, go ahead and type those into the chat window there, and Radisha can get some of those answered for you.
Sure. While we're waiting on some questions, I can add just one more thing. Once you create all those setups, there's also a way to save it. If you create 5, 6 of those setups, you don't want somebody to delete it by mistake, or if you reinstall software, then you have to remember to do that all over again. You can go and find where your Flexi is installed and open Install Preference Manager. Once you set everything the way you like it, you can open Preference Manager and you can save preferences for your Flexi and Production Manager. This will enable you to remember all the settings. So if somebody deletes it by mistakes, you can just go back to Preference Manager, open it, and reload your settings. And it's on my second screen here, so I can go and save this and call it custom. Okay, and if anybody deletes my setups or I make a mistake, I can always go back to Preference Manager, select my custom setting, click Import, and that will reload all of the settings. Okay, actually just click Load. Custom preference is loaded. All right. Stu, do we have any questions or?
Fantastic. I'm not seeing any questions so far.
Okay.
So I think that's, we've got a few people that have been trying to type. So if you do have any questions that you'd like, go ahead and put those in there.
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
We'll wait here.
And
then if you guys have any questions later, you're always welcome to email us or give us a call and we'll help you. Yes.
So we do have one question from Carol. She says, how do you get to the view that you are using?
View. What type of view? Can we elaborate a little bit?
All right. Yeah, Carol, if you can just clarify that so we can get the correct answer for you, that would be great. All right, while she's typing that, we did have another question from Franchi. It said, soft shadows does not seem to be working for us. Has something changed?
Nothing has changed. We can maybe, after this, maybe we can get a number and do remote session and check on the computer directly with you guys. As far as I know, nothing has changed with the shadow. We want to take a look at the settings. If I go to Effects and Create Shadow, if it's transparent, I'll just leave it on this here. Seems to be working fine for me. We can take a look at your settings and see what's going on. And maybe, Stu, you can take a phone number and you can give them a call after this and do remote session and see what's happening.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, and then we just had a question where they can access or review all these webinars and other training videos that we have. So that's going to be on the SAI YouTube channel. So I've typed a link down there in the chat window, but it's just called the SAI channel. And we do upload all the training webinars and additional videos and tips and tricks to be able to help you utilize Flexi.
Was that maybe a question from Carol, where do I get to view this, or there was more from on
Not
where do you
yet,
get
still
that
looking
view?
for clarification there. But we do have a question from Jessica. She said, how do you
Yes.
show the preview on the upper right-hand side?
Over here? Should be shown automatically when you select the job. I want to see if there is a setting to, if you go to Edit and the Preferences, should be Auto Load Preview on Adding Job. This box should be checked. So that is under Edit, Preferences, and Auto Load Preview on Adding Job. If you are on Flexi 12 and this is all checked and still not seeing the preview for your file here, we should be able to still maybe need to do a remote session to take a look at it. But everything that you load into Flexi 12 in Production Manager, if it's older version may have different options, but with 12 you should see preview on every job that you click on. If it's a mesh job like this, it will not show you preview. You have to click on individual jobs to preview what's in that window. Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, and Fran, I will have our tech support reach out to you to go over the soft shadows and make sure that that works for you.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like that's all the questions that we have right now. If you do have any more, go ahead and type them in there. Or let's see here. So Carol said, I don't see add, rip, or output on the left-hand side. So she had the question about the view.
Oh, what version of Flexi do you have? Go to Help and About, and it will show you. If it's a version 11 or some lower versions, they have different view. So I'd like to find out that.
And Ryan suggested try dragging the divider bar. It might be collapsed. Carol
Yes,
says
so that's also
11.
possible. Yeah. So version 11.
Okay,
So yeah, version 11 is a little bit different. Version 11 has view on one side and then printer and the setups over here. So it will not have those three spaces. This is added to 12, I believe.
Okay, so everything's just spaced a little differently.
Yeah, it's just a different workflow, and I like this one actually better. It is a little bit smoother because you can even drag a job to rip it here. It just gives you a little bit more flexibility or what you how you work with your jobs in Production Manager. Now we'll see if I still have version 11 on my computer so we can compare that. In the meantime, do we have any other questions?
Nope, looks like we're good.
Okay.
All right, well, Radisha, thank you so much. Over that, everyone, thank you for attending. We really appreciate all the questions. And if you do have any suggestions or ideas of other things that you want to see, that you want to learn about Flexi, you can go ahead and type them in the window. Go ahead and send us an email so that we can make sure that we're giving you the information that you're looking for, making your lives easier. And we'll be preparing our webinar for next month, and we'll send out an email, as well as we'll send you out an email notification when the recording of this one is available on YouTube.
Great. Yeah, I want to thank you all for spending time with us here, and hopefully this you have learned something. To answer that question, yeah, this is Production Manager version 11. It does not have those views. This is in the latest version and in the subscription. So if you find this beneficial, maybe we can look into getting a subscription or an upgrade in version 12. Okay.
Okay, and can you still see the preview?
Yeah, this is what's different. Yeah, this is what is different. You're not going to be able to see all of that.
Okay.
Just different options. So version 12 is much. The view, the framework, the user interface is just newer and more sophisticated than version 11.
Okay.
Okay.
David, I saw your suggestion there, going over templates. Yes, let's put that on the list, Radisha, something that we can cover using templates in Flexi.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
All right. Thank you so much, David.
And
Thank you, everyone.
we can check also that there could be also, if you search our YouTube channel, we can check that there might be already some webinars about that from the past. We'll look into it. Okay.
Okay. We'll see you all next time.
All right. Thank you very much.